grocery. Relax, folks. Minor California tremor weekends all around. Nothing to worry about. That's it. All right, it's a little bit slower than normal. Everyone, please keep your seats. It's going to be quiet. All right, folks. Oh, yeah. See you on the other side. Congratulations, folks, you have just survived an earthquake. The big one. That simulates an 8.3 earthquake on the Richter scale. That is one of the most sophisticated live special effects ever created. The livery stable over here on my side is the home of Francis, the talking mule from the film series starring Donald O'Connor. But when we used to get Francis to talk? Peanut butter. Peanut butter. We smeared it on the roof of his mouth. When he'd lick it off, his lips would move. And later, we dubbed in the voice of actor Chill Wills. Very similar technique was used later on from Mr. Ed, and we also think it's where Milli Vanilli got the idea for their act. Over here on my side, this is our Amity Island set inspired. Excuse me for just a second. Could you call in and let him know that George is out here again? George! Come on, get out of the water.
George looks pretty bad.
I told you about this before.
Get a close-up of George, dear.
Mr. Spielberg does not like people.
Get a close-up of George, dear.
George?
How weak he looks.
George, there's a shark out there. Looks like he's getting ready to attack. George, I really think you should get out of the water right now. George, can you hear me? Get out of the water! George, hurry! Oh, no, help! George! George!
Yes!
Claire, I don't think you have to worry about calling George in anymore.
That was cool.
We've been trying to catch that shark for ages. We baited the hook attached to that yellow boat and tied it to the dock, so... Oh, look, he's taking the bait. Oh, no, the dog! The Grey House at the bend in the road is 1313 Mockingbird Lane from the Munsters. This yellow house with the white trim is where Macaulay Culkin lived in Michael Jackson's Black or White video. And the lavender house with the cream colored trim, that's where Doris Day and James Garner lived in the movie The Thrill of It All. As a matter of fact, throughout the course of her career, Doris Day has actually lived in each of the homes on this street. And each time, with a different husband. Tram. Over here on the driver's side is a mansion built back in 1923 for a silent film called Uncle Tom's Cabin. It was also the Chumley rest home for the Jimmy Stewart film, Harvey.
Harvey.
What is now City Hall there at the end of the street, that's where Beaver Cleaver went to school in the original Leave It to Beaver television series. Now, almost all the homes on the driver's side were used extensively for the Tom Hanks film, The Burbs. The Fishkill house is where the weird Klopek family lived in that movie, and that house sits on the site of the Cleaver home from Leave It to Beaver. And we still have the Cleaver home here on the lot in storage. Right next door, the gray house with the off-white trim is where Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher lived in the burbs. And that house was also used for another Tom Hanks film. For the movie Dragnet, that house was painted pink and white, and that was the home of the Virgin Connie Swale. The greenhouse with the white trim is where Pamela Sue Martin lived in the Nancy Drew Mysteries in the late 70s. The White House with the green trim is the home of TV's Ben Matlock. And the tan house with the brown trim is the House of the Seven Gables. From the film starring Vincent Price. Mr. Price made his very first horror film for Universal called The Tower of London. When that film was completed, Mr. Price was so afraid of being typecast that he swore he would never make another horror film ever again. Yeah, right. At last count, Vincent Price has done nearly 100 horror films. So way to stick to your guns, Vince. All right. The road that we're traveling right now is very similar to one driven when dark. Alfred Hitchcock was not very fond of the initial results of Psycho. He was considering cutting that whole film down to a 1-hour episode of his weekly television series at the time. Now over here on my side, you get a much better view of the Psycho house there on top of the Psycho hill. Surrounded there by the Psycho trees. There's the Psycho stairs leading up. That little dirt road there, that's the Psychopath. What? What? The baseball tunnel may look a little bit different than you remember it because it was updated to a more southwestern theme for a television movie called The Bates Motel. It starred Bud Cort and Jason Bateman. You know, Alfred Hitchcock created many of the great special effects he used in his films. You can see how a few of them are done back in the world of cinemagic and the magic of Alfred Hitchcock. As we get a little bit closer to the Psycho house, you might want to have your cameras ready and point them towards the second floor window on the front side of the house, because you never know when Mother might be around to greet her guests. Available for children's parties. The Psycho house is what we call a shell. We can shoot it from almost any angle on the outside, but on the inside, it's almost perfectly hollow. The log cabin over here on Blair's side, that was used for the great outdoors, and it is a practical set, meaning we can shoot inside of that building as well as on the outside. That waterfall in the background over there is completely man-made, as are all the bodies of water here at Universal, and they are all filled with reclaimed water. You see up the hill in front of us a little ways, you can see the backs of several facades. That is a small Pasadena neighborhood we built for the film Beethoven starring Charles Grodin and Bonnie Hunt. And we're going to use those sets again for the sequel coming up very soon called Beethoven Second. Over here on my side is the world's largest freestanding backdrop, built for our 4th Jaws film, Jaws: The Revenge. This time it's personal. Most of that film was shot on location in the Bahamas, but for the shark attack scenes, we needed a little bit more control of the environment, so we filmed that in the lake here in front of the backdrop. You know, here in Hollywood, it is very easy to go from sea level to 12,000 feet in elevation just by turning the corner. It's a little chilly. Blair, are we going to stop and put on the snow chains? No? Oh, okay, you're the driver. You seem to know best. All right. Folks, we're going to take the shortcut, I guess. Now, this tunnel can be a little bit treacherous, but we should be fine as long as the danger sign on my side isn't flashing. Uh-oh.
It's flashing.
Folks, let's be very, very quiet because we don't want to accidentally start an avalanche, 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 avalanche.
That was good.
If you start to feel dizzy, just close your eyes, you'll be fine.
Downward means you're falling.
Yeah.
You okay, man?
Well, folks, before you reach up and try and collect your pocket change off the ceilings, should let you know a little secret. The tram stayed perfectly level going through the tunnel. It did not tilt at all. Don't feel too bad if the illusion got to you, though, because we did use that for an episode of The $6 Million Man. Lee Majors, the star of the show, all he had to do was run from one end of the tunnel to the other. Of course, even the $6 Million Man could only get about half